welcome back to TNN's coverage of the world's 9 best fantasy football players league. I'm your host, and this is what we have for you this week. Week 7 games altered who was at the top of the league, with Demo Gordon taking the number 1 spot. To recap all that went on, we send it out to the West Coast with Tommy Bahama.
Hey, what's up, guys? Miggy the Math Nerd here. Welcome to the first edition of Stat of the Week, where we provide you the deepest and most important and useful fantasy insights for across the league. All right, let's get started. Next slide, please. This week, fantasy teams that have had their wins and losses perfectly line up with NFL teams. Buys have not been counted. Next slide, please. All right, starting out with Tom's shitty-ass team. Raiders, okay. But, yeah, there you go. Next opponent, Big Chungus. And next opponent, Cleveland. So, sorry, Browns, because Big Chungus ain't gonna win this one. Next slide. Second, big stat of the week. Harry Snotters have been perfectly lined up with the New Orleans Saints. There you go. Sorry, Bears. And sorry, I don't know how that ended up in there. But I mean, since you're asking now, no, that is not my girlfriend, or was my girlfriend. But yes, I did talk to girls when I was 13 years old. No more questions. Let's move on. Last but not least, the Lock and Stock and Robots lining themselves up with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tough luck to the Robots, because I'm really not that high on the Bucs. But it looks like at least they're going to get a win this week, since the Bucs are going up against the Giants. Sorry, what? That concluded my presentation. Yeah, man. Thank you.
Undefeated Never Lost strung together their second win, beating Team M Vanek by the slimmest of margins. TNN reached out to new offensive coordinator Danny Stortz to see how he was adjusting to the new job.
Thank you, Mr. Host, for that introduction, and thank you all owners for the warm welcome in my first week. Thank you especially to Vanek for really blowing your game last week and giving us the win. So, as the team name states, I am undefeated. I have never lost as a coach. And we'll look to continue that against Too Many Cooks here. I think we made a few important discoveries last week, including, the future quarterback for our team is now going to be Joe Burrow after Cam Newton decided to put up negative points. So it was a very eye-opening week for me, for sure. Still trying to figure out how this app works, and I hope I can swear, because, yeah, I just did. But, we're playing scumbag Joe Facciabene, notorious for the Brandon Cooks acquisition, which my co-owner took him to court a few weeks ago. Unfortunately lost, but we'll see if we can't make him take an L in the fantasy game.
And now, here is Danny Football with our preview of Week 8. Hey, what's up, guys? The world's 9 best fantasy football players expert, Danny Football here, back with another week of expert predictions. It was an okay week for me last time, going 3-3, moving my total on the year to 26-16, so still very respectable, still an expert, of course. My guest, Timmy, not so great, went 2-4, really had some questionable picks in there. Couldn't beat the expert, but of course no one really expected him to. It's no easy task, and hopefully we'll be able to get him back on the show at some point. Now, it's a new week, there's a new guest, and a new chance to beat the expert. So guest, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hey guys, Miguel Romanello, head coach and GM of the historic franchise, Undefeated Never Lost. Thanks, Mr. Football, for having me. I'm excited to do this. Lots of good matchups this week, so I wouldn't be surprised if I actually ended up with a losing record, but I'm sure none of you would be surprised about that.
Our first matchup, we have Team M Vanek taking on Bro Chill. It's just Njoku. Team M Vanek currently favored in this one at a 58% chance to win. Who do you like in this one?
I've been very high on Team M Vanek this year, even though I just beat the bricks out of them. I think Jason Pierre-Paul, he was shut down last week. I think he's gonna have a big game back against the Giants. Same with CD Lamb, he was shut down basically, and especially if Miles Sanders doesn't start, Boston Scott will be able to come in, gets lots of points against Dallas. So I'm going with M Vanek, and if I may add, I think he does have a slight outside chance of making the playoffs, even though he has a tough schedule. But I'm actually very, very high on this team.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick. I also have some hope in Team M Vanek here. They fell to 2-5. Demoralizing loss last week to Undefeated Never Lost. Super close margin. Bro Chill is just Njoku coming to this one with yet another team rebrand. Really brings a lot of questions. Do they have a consistent team identity? Can this team really win with so many changes around them? How are players going to respond in the locker room? Honestly, players, matchups don't even matter in this one. It all comes down to Team M Vanek's bad luck with the most points scored against in the league, constant quarterback injuries. But I don't think the bad luck streak can continue for this long, and for that reason, I'm picking Team M Vanek in this one. Next up, we have the Tex Arcana Bandits taking on the Harry Snotters. Harry Snotters, big favorites here, 97% chance to win. But fans of the show will know I am high on the Bandits. Unfortunately, short round on a bye this week, and the Bandits just traded away their only other quarterback in Carson Wentz. So, stream Nick Foles, I guess? I don't know. Not a great look. Bandits, really big question mark there. McCaffrey might be coming back for the Snotters, but I don't think it really matters. Snotters all the way in this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you on that one. It's probably one of main locks this week, at least in my opinion. I don't think Zeke's gonna come out of this funk. I think the Cowboys are just gonna be ass all the time. I think Rojo might have a massive day against the Giants, and I'm a big defensive guy. The defensive coordinator for the historic franchise, Undefeated Never Lost. So I always take a look at that. Snotters defense, big potential to go off. Devin White against the Giants, Aldon Smith against the Eagles. That could be 2 or 3 sacks. Nathan Gary against the Cowboys. And very questionable calls from the defense side of Grayson. He's starting 2 guys who had under 30 snaps last week. So
interesting.
I don't know. It's getting to the point where I've been accused of tanking a lot, but I think a couple of the teams in the league might need to have a look in the mirror right now. I'm going with the Snotters.
Shots incoming at the Bandits. Accused of tanking by confirmed tanker. Moving on, we have Demo Gordon taking on Ham and Throw. Demo Gordon, favored here, 52% chance to win. Looking tight right now based on the projections. Who do you like?
At the end of the day, I think this matchup is between one of the teams that has the easiest time putting up points in the league and one of the teams that has had the hardest time putting up points in the league, at least for the last couple of weeks. I don't care that Aaron Jones is coming back. I think that Singletary, I think he's projected 10 points. That's way over. Michael Thomas is still questionable. I mean, even if if Henderson doesn't get many touches for the Rams, maybe it might be kind of close. But I mean, this is also as much of a lock as you're going to have this week. So I'm going with Demo Gordon.
Yeah, I think that the summary for this matchup is it's the team to beat versus a team that is beat. Very easy to pick here. Anonymous league insiders report that Ham and Throw inserted players like Michael Thomas, who are unlikely to play, into their lineup last night just to boost their percentage chance of winning right before pick time today. We do not condone this behavior, percentage chance inflation on the show. For that reason, I think they're going to win for sure. Demo Gordon.
Might I add, this kind of trickery, it doesn't get by with two experts that
That's
we have
true.
on today.
Possibly one expert, but two, not a chance.
Two at least. Bad.
Next up, we have the Lock'em Sock'em Robots facing off against Mental Brick Walls. Robots currently favored here at a 69% chance to win. I think this could be one of the closest matchups of the week. Two good teams. Robots coming into this one a little banged up. Questions about Deontay Johnson, Allen Robinson. Brick Walls still need to fill some spots in their starting lineup, so expect them to make this one a little bit closer with the projections. Possible question about McCaffrey coming back and how this affects Davis on the Brick Walls, but I think this really comes down to the Steelers and Deontay Johnson. If Deontay plays, big boost for the Robots and a big hit for Chase Claypool and the Brick Walls. Right now, I think Deontay is going to play, and you'll see diminished production out of Claypool as a result, and I have to give slight edge to the Robots here.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. A lot of the same insights. I think it really depends. Brett is hanging on, especially if McCaffrey does play today. It doesn't seem very likely, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt there. I hadn't considered that Chase Claypool might have some diminished targets this week, but at the end of the day, I think this is as much of a coin toss as it can be, so I actually brought a little coin with me. Heads, I'm going with the Robots, since the Robots have heads, and tails, I'm going with the Walls, just by... I'm going with Walls. Wins
Wow.
Brick Walls.
Hey.
If you didn't notice, Tooch, the coin's down there. Didn't have to have a look at it. I'm sure everybody watching noticed. I just wanted you to notice. I want to see your reaction.
I love it. I love it. Obviously, as an expert, I don't root for any team, but I love the coin flip. Moving on, we have 10th Ave touchdown going against Team Big Chungus 22. 10th Ave touchdown, currently favored, 85% chance to win in this one. Who do you like here?
I mean, I don't have much to say here. I've said it before. I think there are some teams out there that are blatantly tanking and have not been accused of doing so yet. So I'm going to do it. Will is starting a guy who's had an average running back, who's had an average amount of carries. That is, I think, 2 or 3 carries per game this year. Pretty tough. He's got a lackluster defense. He's going up against a strong team. It's like, at the end of the day, it's the guy who has the least amount of points in the league right now. Just want to put that out there. Against third highest point output. So, yeah, it's easy pick. 10th Avenue touchdown.
Yeah, I agree with you here. Very easy pick. I have never been high on Big Chungus, although they could make it a little closer if Miles Sanders plays this week. But 10th Ave, pretty consistent so far this year. And I'd like to point out, because I think this is slept on, Big Chungus now has the lowest points scored in the entire league, lower than Hammond Throw's entire terrible team, lower than Undefeated Never Lost, which many have claimed tanking this year. They have slid by for far too long. I think they are worse than that record that they have at 3-4, and that continues here. More losing, 10th Ave touchdown, easy pick, lock it in. Finally, the matchup everybody has been waiting for. Marquee matchup, bitter rivalry. Undefeated, Never Lost takes on Too Many Cooks. Too Many Cooks currently favored at a 54% chance to win. This one, super important, could determine the number 1 pick in the draft. Unless, of course, Team Mvanek continues to murder a new quarterback every week and have the worst luck of any team ever. Undefeated, Never Lost turned things around recently, stringing some wins together after starting winless. New offensive coordinator Danny Stortz may have been exactly what this team needed, although there was the questionable quarterback play that almost cost them last week's game. But on the other side, Too Many Cooks has started a bit of a slide recently, and they will be without team namesake and arguably the most valuable player on the team, Brandon Cooks, this week. This one should be pretty easy. All signs point towards Undefeated Never Lost to take the win here.
Wow, I'm surprised you said it.
But
Come
the
on.
odds have never mattered in competition between these two teams before. Too many Cooks already beat down Undefeated Never Lost in the courtroom. They were already on the right side of the law, and I have to side with them in this dispute as well.
Dude, how biased are you for Joe against me? This is absolutely insane. This is grounds for a mistrial, by the way. I don't care if you are the same person. I don't care if Danny Football and whoever the other guy is are two different personalities. You clearly look exactly the same, and I can get to the bottom of this if I want to, okay?
Hey man, that's my brother. He decided to pursue a career in the law. I'm all about the football.
Wow. Yeah, wow, okay. I was super happy that you were gonna pick for me. I guess, hey, what I think is that, I think he currently has a little bit of the upper hand. I think it's gonna come down to a few questions that we're just gonna learn on game day, whether Mixon or Fournette are gonna be starting or playing big roles. I think some of his players are a little bit more overpredicted than mine are. Sleeper has a little bit of a tendency to give guys with like a couple big weeks like massive projections for the rest of the year. I think he has a couple of those. So I mean, it's in the name. Undefeated Never Lost. Pretty sure they have never lost. They definitely haven't lost against the Imposters division, and they have not lost under the discretion of offensive coordinator Danny Stortz. So I'm going with Undefeated Never Lost. But also, may I add, Joe, if you want to start going off this year, I don't mind. I know that we're bitter opponents, but I think it's better if our rivalry starts blossoming next year, because right now I have lots of picks on the line, and I need Hammond, Throw, and Will to be at the bottom of the standings. So I kind of want you to actually, no, you know what? I want you to make the playoffs and win the entire thing, so you won't get any good picks for next year, and then we can smack you around. That's what I want. But hey, here we go. I'm still going to kick your ass this week.
All right, Miguel, thank you so much for being on the show this week. I love the picks. Great expert analysis. Maybe the most in-depth expert that I've had on the show. Wish you all the best with your picks.
No, you
of course,
don't.
Not as good as me. Can't beat me. But who knows? We could both have a good week. And thank you again for being on this week. Hopefully we'll get you back on at some point.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll be back just for you to freaking put me down again. Mr. Football, somehow. Jesus Christ, this is bullshit.
And thank you, Danny Football and guest Miguel, for those great picks. And that's all we have for you this week. I'm your host, and this has been TNN.